Professional gorilla in the mist. Lead and assist.
Welcome to the Franchise Podcast. I'm Joe Rigo. With me is the man you hear singing, TQ.
Yeah. We back in the building, boys and girls. How y'all doing out there this week?
Man, you know what? It's been a good week. We've had a lot of good things happen.
A lot of things going on, man.
Yes, we got a big show. We got Andrew Perloff. You guys may know him as McGlovin from the Dan Patrick Show. He's got a new show, Maggy and Perloff on CBS Sports.
Yes, sir.
He joined us at Radio Row. We're going to talk about the top 5 hip hop groups of all time.
Yes, sir. That's one that's been bubbling all week, huh?
Yeah, I've been thinking. And then we got to talk about Showtime.
Yeah, man. Yo, man. I mean, we got good Lakers and bad Lakers all wrapped up in one show today.
Yeah, and then we also going to talk about the show. We seen the show on Sunday night when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. We're going to talk about that, and it may not be as we'll see how funny it is or if it's funny at all.
Yeah, for real, man, for real. But spring is in the air.
Oh yeah,
spring is in the air, and UNLV football is in pads.
Man, it's a good sight to see.
Yeah. You're happy about that, right? What they looking like, man? Tell me.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, these quarterbacks are spinning it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing dimes. I'm not supposed to be watching certain parts, but
right.
I gotta stretch real quick and look out the window. And turn around and seen a couple dimes by not only Doug Brumfield and Cam Friel, but also Harrison Bailey. Excuse me, Harrison.
Really?
Man, yeah. There's a different vibe after practice the first day. LEL, defensive lineman for UNLV, using his COVID year to come back. Team won the guy's quarterback pressures. He's got the best Twitter handle of all time. It's at your QB is dead.
Yeah.
So LEL,
I like that.
LEL wanted to get some work in, and Harrison just got done talking to us media types, and he said put a trash can in between them.
Yeah,
it's like that's the lineman. And he's working on, okay, I get pressured one way, this is how you should turn. Here's your steps. Mm-hmm. So to have a quarterback working with like what a quarterback is thinking with the D lineman.
Yes.
There's a different vibe. Wallace, I think his first name is Seneca Wallace. He's a receiver.
Seneca Wallace. Like the old player?
Well, maybe his last name's not Wallace.
Okay.
His name's Seneca, but
right.
He's a D2 transfer receiver that came in, and he was setting records down there. Well, he's in there, and I'm watching his route running. I'm watching the way his breaks, his releases. Looks really good. And he's after practice, 100 balls on the jugs, different angles. You see DBs out there working. Noel Williams and Jere Williams both working one-on-ones.
Nice.
And then you had Kyle Williams come and work off the press while they're trying to jam. This is all after practice.
Okay.
So the culture looks really good.
We like that. We like what the defense looking like, man. Don't leave me hanging.
Oh man, let me tell you. This may be with LPJ.
Hold on, man. Don't blow it up, man. Don't get me all pumped up, bro.
No, I'm gonna tell you, the DBs, the defensive backfield, the corners and the safeties, that may be the strength of the defense. And
really?
With LPJ announcing he's coming in, he just announced on Friday that he's transferring in from Utah. He's got 4 years of eligibility.
Oh.
So he redshirted 1 year, has the COVID, or he had the COVID year, and then last year, and he still gets the COVID year back.
Whew,
so,
boy,
highly touted corner, coming out of high school, LPJ. He's in now. So you got LPJ, you got Cam Oliver, you have Noel Williams, you have Ricky Johnson, Davon Walden.
They got some athletes.
He moved from receiver back to corner.
Okay.
So number 84 is back to being number 15. So he's going back to corner. They have some long, lean, athletic guys. So the defensive backfield looks real good. The linebackers look really strong. I like the addition from the kid from Florida State.
How's the coaching turnover looking, man? Like,
you know what? It's really good. There's a new energy. Like the first thing I noticed at practice on Monday and even on Tuesday and Thursday was under Peter Hansen. You know how he was kind of quiet at practice,
right?
That's not Keith Haywood.
Really,
Keith is a play happened very first play of the spring, and the player got pulled off the field, and his position coach talked to him, and Keith ran right over and was like, "This is what I'm talking about. It's the little things. It's the discipline.
Right.
You're supposed to stay on here." And it was just like, wow. And it was really cool. So you see that he's doing a hell of a job with the corners. I know a lot of the technique that he's teaching, and it looks a lot of stuff that I'm familiar with. So I love that.
So you feeling good? You feeling good about spring football after the
man.
first couple of days then, huh?
Spring football, I'm looking forward to that. Plus, they got some more transfers coming down the pipeline. So
Good.
So this is going to be a big year.
Good.
I got a question for you before we move on from spring football. Over under right now season total. Okay, I'm gonna give you a line. 6.5. They win over or they win less.
I ain't seen them, man. I'm going by what you saying. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna be out there next week with the cameras. I ain't seen them yet, so I don't know. And what I'm not gonna do is get myself all worked up into a damn frenzy like we did last year and be wanting to like knock some heads off in the parking lot after the games this year. You know, I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to get emotionally attached.
Too late.
Watch.
You already are.
I want to be cool. I want to chill. And I want to just, I want to temper my expectations. I'm going to listen to you. But if I listen to you too much, I'm going to go out there with expectations. I'm going to be leaving mad. But you know what I'm saying, man? It's just, listen.
Eternal optimist.
Listen, check this out. Being a UNLV fan, like, you really got to have some soul within yourself. Like, you really need to have some mindfulness. You need to take time for meditation. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been a UNLV fan my whole life. But I've been here in Vegas for 20-something years. I've adopted the school. I know the inner workings of the program because of this guy, and it drives me batshit crazy. I can't even.
How do you think I feel?
Whew.
And how the coach feels.
Man.
I mean, I'll tell you this.
Man,
I'm very optimistic about this year.
good.
I'm optimistic that we're probably going to be busy in either December or January.
That would be a beautiful thing.
Yes.
That would be a beautiful thing. One thing I will say, I said it last year, there has absolutely been a culture change.
Yeah.
So normally when the culture changes, guys buy in, the winning comes behind that. Normally. So,
5 games, they're
See,
lost by 8 points or less.
real talk. This is the truth.
And they're deeper across the board, other than running back. That's my only concern right now.
Mm.
They need to get a running back that come into that room. They have a good group. Sammy Green looks really good. Six looks real good. You know, they all look good, but I think they need to get a little more depth in there. But that's not a criticism. That's not a critique. I think
No, for
coaches
sure.
would say
It
the same
can still
thing.
happen though.
But something did happen on Sunday. Now, unless you've been under a rock or maybe in outer space or I don't know, maybe too loaded sitting on the couch, you probably heard about Will Smith slapping the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth. Now, it's brought us great memes, great gifts. It's brought us great. I mean, trust me, I have them all. I'm getting DM'd, and I'll send them to you too. You probably haven't even looked though, but there's a bunch of them. I mean, one of them had Chris Rock's character as the zebra from this Disney movie, and Will Smith is the fish in his movie. He walked up and smacked them, and it was probably the best one. But in all seriousness, like this is a serious subject because of what happened. You know, before I'm not gonna make light of it anymore on the show, but like, what do you think about what happened, man? That's your industry.
Yeah, man. For me, I mean, it's so many layers to it. But I just think it was a bad night for black men.
Okay.
That's the way I feel about it. Like, if you just look at, you know how they say, get your flowers while you can see them, right? So many people were receiving flowers that particular night for so many great things. Like, let's just start with Chris Rock, all right? You're on stage hosting the Grammys. I mean, the Oscars. Like, you have arrived. Mm-hmm. When at the end of that man's life, that was going to be one of the highlights of his career, hosting the Oscars, right? You look at the amount of work that he's put in as an entertainer from Pookie up until now, right?
The male guy on Boomerang.
Yeah, like across the board. Like, and this man is on this particular night is hosting the Oscars. Now he's here. He's about to give an Oscar to an icon. Will Smith is an icon. You hear what I'm saying?
I thought he was doing documentaries.
I mean, listen, man, I've been around the world. That is one of the most famous people in the world.
Right.
Like, literally, Fresh Prince has been distributed in so many different countries and so many different languages. I bet it's on more than any, probably Cops. It's probably the one show that I've seen more abroad than the Fresh Prince. And it's like, I feel like that show created such a bridge between, like, to show the rest of the world like what black people could be. We never got a chance to see rich black people. We saw the Jeffersons, we saw the Cosbys, and we saw the Fresh Prince. And it's like, that creates something in a black child to be able to watch that every day, to say, hey, I'm capable of living like this too. It's not only white people that could live this way. We could live this way also. And we've only been able to see that side of black people from entertainers and musicians and sports figures, right? These people in these shows, they worked. They had jobs. They was doctors, they was lawyers, they was scholars. And, you know, Bill Cosby's legacy completely tainted.
Yep.
Because of a lack of control. Will Smith is there at the Oscars. The whole night gets tainted because of a lack of control. He had played Richard Williams. Mm-hmm. That's why he was getting the Oscar. Another misunderstood black man that people saw as out of control. That's the part that bothers me so bad. My man Questlove.
Overshadowed.
Completely overshadowed. The amount of work that this man has put in on so many levels of entertainment, on so many levels of just empowering black people, he wasn't able to get his flowers because of a lack of control. So Will Smith, the icon that he is, the bridge that he has been, gets up and realizes, once again, makes a 400-year stereotype true once again. Black men can't control themselves, so we need to control them. That part bothered me more so than any of the rest of it. So that's the deep part that tugs at me on one side. The other side that tugs at me, it's not my personal business, but I'm a viewer. I'm watching. Will laughed when the man said the joke. Mm-hmm. He laughed. I saw him laugh. So when was it not funny?
When he looked at his wife and seen that she looked hurt over it. And with
before you go and slap somebody because of that, why don't you apologize to her for laughing at it then?
That's a good point, but I think if you look at the last 2 years with Will Smith, with everything personally that he's gone through, by way of his wife,
I get it.
By way of acknowledging a lifestyle that he and Jada have,
I get that.
And he's, in a sense, fighting for his marriage, proving that I'm worthy to be your protector. I'm worthy of that. And if he hurts you, I may have found it funny, but your hurt outweighs that for me. And that may be, and I don't want to say triggered, but that maybe was what set him off.
Quite possible. I'm not saying I'm not even saying what's right or wrong. I don't know. I've never been married. You understand these things better than I do. But if it was me in the situation, before I went to protect her on Chris Rock, I'm going to apologize to her if I really feel that way, because I laughed at the joke. When I notice that she doesn't like it or she's feeling some kind of way, I'm going to stop immediately. I'm going to grab her hand. I'm going to say, babe, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing at this. Do you want me to stop this right now? Because I will stop this immediately.
You'll say it just like that.
I will stop this immediately if you want me to stop it. But I just had a problem with him just going up and doing it like that, because it just, I understand the point that you're coming from, wanting to protect your wife, but your wife is one person and you've ruined a night for so many other people.
You know, I'm going to spin this the other way, though. You know what you also seen that night? You've seen Denzel Washington once again come to rescue someone at the end of the day.
That bothers me too, though.
That for him to go talk with him, look.
But he had to. He's the OG. It's just like in the neighborhood.
Well, Samuel L. Jackson was there.
I mean,
there was a bunch of people that were there. But again, he comes over and he not only talks to Will Smith, but he talks to Chris Rock as well.
Do you think that Denzel wanted to deal with that?
No, hell no. I don't think anybody did.
When he was getting all jazzed up to go to the Oscars, do you think that's the way he wanted to be spending his night?
No.
Absolutely not. So I'm just saying the loss of control for that particular moment, the lesson to be learned here is how much collateral damage just can be created off of just a quick loss of control. So I just want to say to like young brothers out there in the streets, brothers at your jobs, when that pressure comes down on you, you don't have the same opportunities as the next person. So be really careful with what you do with your opportunities. You're not Will Smith. So that's what I want to say about the situation.
I'm glad. No, I am.
Thought it was gonna go nuts.
I thought you were gonna go longer. Like, I mean, I was sitting here like, damn, man, he's getting serious. Like, why? You know what
I'm saying?
And I'm thinking, meanwhile, like, all bullshit aside, and you're talking about when he said he should have touched her leg and told her how much, and everything that you're saying, and then you start laughing. My whole thought was, one, your ass would not say that. And two, if you did, you would be laughing the whole way through.
Yeah, I couldn't have stopped laughing. I would have stopped laughing. I'm sorry. Yes, I would have stopped laughing. But if it was funny, like, it was just damn funny, okay? Like, and I got it. I'm just sorry, babe. I'm an ass. I shouldn't have laughed at that. I completely apologize. You want me to sleep on the couch? What do you want me to go up here and punch this guy? Whatever. I get it, but I got to talk to her first.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying?
But my thought was like, I'm listening to you, and I agree with everything that you said.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm just thinking to myself, I've seen you in situations. And this may be the new squeeze.
I'm a grown man now, man. Come on, give me a break, man. I was young, I was stupid, I was probably smoking weed or drinking, and you know what I'm saying? No telling.
Well, man, look, speaking of, like, you're talking about no telling what would happen when we were younger. There's a show on HBO called Showtime.
Oh man,
this is and honestly, Bel Air are probably my two favorite shows on TV right now. Like, man. I literally wait on Sunday nights and Thursday nights for both of those shows.
I mean, you know, Bel Air threw me off, so I haven't really gone back to it after a couple of episodes. But man, like we witnessed a lot of this with Showtime, this Lakers show on HBO, man, and it's like, to just see, and I know it's loosely based on the things that happen, but to have grown up at that time, that been so young, and just some of that stuff that went over our heads that we didn't know about this story,
right?
We're finding out now, and it's like, man, the casting job. What's my man in John C. Reilly?
He's so the best.
He's playing Dr. Bus like oh my goodness, like HBO just seems to have their finger on it, man. Well, every couple of years they just come with something just ridiculously groundbreaking, and like, this is the one for me right now.
Well, the guy that plays Magic looks dead on like him too.
He looks like him, talks like
mannerisms,
an actor, like, and I mean, just the angles of just all of the dynamics, the things that happen, just behind closed doors
that nobody's supposed to know.
Nobody's supposed to know, and I mean, it happens from the top to the bottom. This kind of stuff is happening at Ford Motors and GM and Exxon Mobil, Apple, across the board, because it's regular people.
Yes.
And regular people in these high position jobs are just regular people. The people that are
doing regular things.
They doing regular things, bro. They just really successful at it, right? And to just see all of the different lanes with and they haven't even played a game in the series yet.
They haven't. It's literally
they leaving training camp, right?
Yes,
bro.
Then the dude that looked like Michael Cooper, that plays Michael Cooper.
Oh my goodness. And Norm Nixon.
Dead on like him.
Dead
too.
on him, man.
Even Kareem.
Yes.
Even Kareem.
Yes. If you're a Laker fan, look, if you're a basketball fan, if you're our age, and you remember the 80s Lakers, watch this show. It's absolutely awesome. And it's going to show. And then what about the episode that had the Las Vegas connection with
we can talk about that. If you haven't seen it, well,
hey, we don't want to spoil it for people.
All I'm going to say is I talked to sources who knew sources that were a part of the sources that know the sources, low people in even lower places, basically.
Okay.
That's all true.
Wow. So we will say this, spoiler alert. Tark the Shark was pretty close to being that first Laker coach during Magic's
he agreed.
rookie year.
In all actuality, he agreed.
Pretty close.
And it wasn't until after the services that he decided that it's best that he stays in Las Vegas.
Right.
But I called somebody immediately after, because someone that knows the history of the program better than anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, is this true? And I explained to him. He goes, 100%.
Wow.
And
Heavy.
It was at
now y'all really need to watch it.
And they dined at Piero's, who
Crazy.
Sadly, Mr. Piero passed away on Thursday. This past Thursday.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just read it in the paper today.
Wow.
So
condolences.
Yeah, so man, that didn't mean to go heavy, but Piero's probably one of the best Italian restaurants in town.
That's deep, man. I never knew that. That was my first time ever even hearing that, and I'm as big of a Laker fan as anybody, and that shocked me. I couldn't believe it.
Side note to all that, people that come to Vegas, I'm gonna give you a Vegas tip. Can I give a Vegas tip for our people that's not here?
Yeah, come on.
If you're not from Vegas, you want to come to Vegas, go to Bootleggers.
You like bootleggers?
Man, I went there with Timmy T last Friday. Had dinner.
You liked it?
Yeah, it was cool.
It's got a vibe, man.
It's an old school Vegas hangout.
It's got a vibe.
Like it's really cool. Dimly lit. Food is reasonably priced. Drinks
it's
are
got a
reasonably
vibe.
priced.
It's got a vibe to it. Been there a couple of times.
Yeah, I had a good.
That was your first time going.
And I sat in they gave me, ironically, the Mark Davis booth.
Wow.
And speaking of, going out, talking about bootleggers, but you realize that people are coming into town now because we got a bunch of stuff jumping off, including the draft, which is like a month away.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind,
it's going down. Got Verb's birthday.
Oh, yes.
Big birthday bash at the strip club. It's going down. It's going down, ladies and gents. Matter of fact,
this is unrehearsed.
We're putting together a stripper convention in Las Vegas for Joe Arrigo's birthday.
Oh, Lord.
Details coming soon.
I'm dead.
Dead. Dead. Let you know I'm doing the show next week by myself.
Shoot. But yeah, so we were down on Radio Row. We had Andrew Perloff from the Dan Patrick Show, formerly they called him McGlovin on there. He has his new show on CBS Sports Radio called Maggy and Perloff. Well, we were hanging out, and he had such a good time with us. We talked about hanging out and going out and having a couple drinks.
Oh yeah,
during the draft.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Drinks will be had. Please believe it.
Partake in festivities.
That's how we do it.
So right now, we figured it'd be a good time to have our interview with Andrew Perloff from Radio Row and the Super Bowl. So check it out right here on The Franchise Show. Welcome back to The Franchise Show with Joe Arrigo and TQ.
That's we in the building.
That's OG off the new album TQ got coming out in not too long. Soon.
And very soon.
Yeah, we got a special guest. It's a guy my favorite show, sports talk show, was Dan Patrick. And we got Andrew Perloff. They called him McGlovin on our show. He's the Andrew Perloff. That's who he is.
Yeah.
My guy. So you're at CBS Sports now. How's everything over there?
Well, it's funny because, I was McGlovin for 12 years on Dan Patrick Show. Now I have a new show called Maggy and Perloff, and people are having trouble this week not calling me McGlovin. Even my close friends, it's been so long, they'll just say McGlovin casually. So I grew up with a nickname. Do you guys guess what my last name's Perloff? So what do you think my nickname was?
Pearly.
Pearl or Pearly. So no one called me Andrew. And then I got to Dan Patrick Show, and there was somebody, Dan thought I looked like McGlovin from Superbad's uncle or something. I don't even know what it was. And McGlovin stuck, and I'm like, oh, my God. So I got this great nickname, except it's not mine. So I can't, brand it or anything. I can't make T-shirts.
Right.
And it's still, but the one thing is we would have celebrities on the show on the radio sometimes, and they thought I was the guy from Superbad. So they'd be like, oh, McGlovin, it was great to party with you 3 weeks ago in Atlanta. And I was like, I wasn't in Atlanta. So I do miss the nickname sometimes.
Yeah, man, that's going to stick for a while, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But there was a question of ownership too. Does Dan Patrick own the nickname McGlovin? I don't even know. Yeah. I don't think he wants it, to be honest.
Just take it, Andrew. Just take it.
Yeah, run with
it,
man.
Okay, so you're big in the NFL. Everybody knows. So let's talk about Vegas in particular. You're back east. You see McDaniels first.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about the McDaniels and Ziegler hire for the Raiders?
I like it. You get that word retread. Doesn't retread sound like automatically negative?
Yeah. Yes.
But who's a retread? Bill Belichick's a retread from Cleveland. Mike Shanahan's a retread. Went from Oakland and won Super Bowls in Denver. Pete Carroll lost to New England and then came to one in Seattle. So you could be a retread. It just depends on sort of what you learn in that time between. Right. My issue and my fear with Belichick guys, they're not great. There's a theory. We had Mike Lombardi, who was with the Patriots as executive. Right. He said, nobody knows what Bill does in the building, so they can't recreate Bill. So that's the fear. But if anybody does, I would think Josh McDaniels does.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, he won a playoff game in Denver. That's
Right.
something with
Right.
Tim Tebow.
Yeah, we'll say with
Tim
Tebow.
Tebow. So you give him Derek Carr. Can you just imagine like
he
the
ought to be
upgrade?
able to do something, right?
Yeah.
Do you think they keep Carr?
I do. I'm amazed by Carr sometimes. Like, he gets a lot of criticism. Then you watch a game, and he's got like 17 completions in a row.
Crazy, man.
You know,
throwing some of the dimiest passes.
I'm an Eagles fan, and like I did not want to see him. He was just like, oh my God, he's so good. Right? He does throw.
Yeah, man. Some of those passes are just like, wow.
Yeah, and I love Josh Jacobs. I met him before the draft. He's awesome. I love Hunter. Everybody loves Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
I love. Oh my God, I love Max Crosby and I love Darren Waller. If you're looking nationally as a team to root for, I mean, there's so many good, interesting guys on the Raiders. That's right there. Josh McDaniels, though, is not known as Mr. Friendly, and that was not his reputation in New England. But I think the guys there, I can't name a team with like just the 5 guys I named, 5 more likable guys, at least to me.
Well, at the press conference, I will say I was there, and he came across very personable. And, and it seems. And where I would agree with you about the retread, it seems like he's grown. And I think you've never seen that with other Belichick coaches off his tree. It's always they get fired and then they go somewhere else as a coordinator and that's it. Other than Mangini, but again, that was a quick hire from the Jets to Cleveland.
Well, Cornell got 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
But like they were kind of interim. They weren't great jobs necessarily.
Right.
But no, you're right. I mean, but now there's this like Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, they're buddies.
Yes.
Nick Saban's bringing in Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, Bill O'Brien, and he's sort of helping his friends get better.
Right.
So now I think I'll be really curious if Belichick hires Bill O'Brien, who was just with Saban.
Right.
And like maybe Belichick is learning from Saban. He's doing these reclamation projects because it sure seems like Josh McDaniels, really recovered from everything in Denver. You did get a little hurt by Indianapolis because everyone was like mad that he took it and walked away.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah. Like
I mean, maybe the Godfather just made him an offer he can't refuse. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. But you know what? Indianapolis if he was going to leave the next year, Indianapolis would have been a pretty good spot. They had a good team.
Yeah, true.
Again, the Vegas is a really great spot. I mean, guys, will you host me out at the stadium? I watch it on TV.
Absolutely.
I'm
100%.
Like, I don't want to go just for a stadium, but that is the coolest looking stadium.
Dude, we got you. Like 100%. When you come out, we got you. No problem. With the McDaniels Indianapolis thing, I actually read from Albert, I think it was Albert Breer. Yeah, where it wasn't necessarily the football optics. It was the stuff, the minutia that who's in charge of the weight program, who's in charge of releasing the injury, the things that an average fan doesn't think about.
Right.
He was uncomfortable. Whether it was him or Ballard would be the one to make those decisions.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. At the end of the day, it's a job like we all have. Like, you want a boss who you're cool with, and you want to, make sure you're not butting heads. So you're right. There's we forget there's like a day-to-day in every building. So that makes a lot of sense. But still, like, optically, it looks pretty bad.
All right, we're here at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Super Bowl. Rams, Bengals. If you would have told me 6 months ago that the Bengals would be in the Super Bowl with that roster, you could say they had the 4th best roster in their own division. And now they come out here and they get hot, and at the right time, Joe Burrow is doing what he did at LSU. What do you think happens in the Super Bowl?
Oh, well, I have a little history with the Bengals, and it's not good.
Like everybody else.
It's a long story. When I was at Sports Illustrated, I wrote a profile of Andy Dalton. I became friends with him, so I cheered for him. So I was like a quasi-Bengals fan when he was in Cincinnati, and I watched. It was the most frustrating team. They had so much talent.
Yeah.
Like, he had A.J. Green. He's amazing. Yeah. They draft Tyler Boyd, but they just always found the banana peel. So he left, and I'm like, I'm going to root against these Bengals. And I said the dumbest thing in the history of the world. I said, we were doing preseason hot takes this year, and I said the Texans will not have the #1 pick. It's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. But wait, it was August. Joe Burrow had an ACL, MCL, like everything was messed up. He was like limping. Jamar Chase in preseason couldn't catch anything. He's like, I'm not used to the football.
Right.
So I'm like, and I knew my Bengals from back in the day. I'm like, they're messed up. Their defense can't play. Then like 3 weeks in, I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. This team is real good. So then I made a vow on my show that I would never bet against Joe Burrow in any situation. So I've been riding him successfully in the playoffs. And, I think you guys are probably talking about the numbers. Like, doesn't the winner of the Super Bowl almost always cover? So I'm going to do Bengals money line. I'm going to, just because I won't bet against Joe Burrow. And also, I think their defense is really good. I think, like I rewatched a little bit of the Titans game and the Chiefs game. Their D-line's not bad, Trey Hendrickson and those guys.
they get back there, man.
So It's not a really logical thing. It's really like I'm not betting against Joe Burrow. It's like betting against Tom Brady. You ever lose a bet against Tom Brady and be like, oh man, why'd I do that? So I'm not going to fall into that trap.
Friendly bets last year in particular when they went to Green Bay. I thought, then I just
Tom Brady, man, don't do it.
Yeah. I'm still at a loss for words
Trust
with
me,
that.
I've lost thousands betting against Tom Brady.
And every time you're like, why did I do that?
Why did I bet against Tom
Do you
Brady
guys,
again?
do you guys feel that way about Joe Burrow a little? Do you feel that like kind of magic?
You know what? I'm a LA native. I'm not a Rams fan, but I am a bit afraid. I will say that. He got that moxie, man, and the team just rallies around him.
Yeah.
It's just, I know.
We were talking about the other day.
Written in the stars for them.
To me, he's a lot like Troy Aikman.
Mm-hmm.
Except he doesn't have the strongest arm, but it's a top 5 arm. He's not the best athlete, but he's a top 5 athlete. Accuracy, same thing. But he has that it factor. He just brings that out of his teammates. And that you can't account for that across the board. It's like a Joe Montana type it factor.
And when you listen to them, when you listen to the team talk, they'll run through a wall for him, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
They love him.
You know, it's funny you bring up Troy Aikman. I grew up an Eagles fan, and in the 90s, you look at Troy Aikman's numbers now, you're like, he's not a Hall of Famer. I will tell you, as an Eagles fan, in the fourth quarter when they needed a completion, that dude was a Hall of Famer. It was magical. Because he would only throw like 19 touchdowns a year, but oh man, they would hand it off to him and like, oh, the Eagles got him. That'd be like 3rd and 11, and he would find Irvin on
on
Eric Allen.
Beautiful pass.
I'm a Packers fan, so I know I relive those '90s playoff games in my head, and they're singed in my head. Like, here we go. It comes another loss.
That's a great. You know, a lot of people compare it to Tom Brady. That's a really great analogy. Troy Aikman, which you might as well consider stolen, by the way, and I will never credit you for it.
Oh, that's cold-blooded, Andrew.
Have you
Get him.
Look around here. You know this industry. You know how this works.
Yeah, I know how it works.
You know how this works.
Yep. We know it all too well. Like it happens all the time.
No, I won't. I'll credit you.
Well, you bring up the Eagles, and I'll bring up Carr. Eagles have, 3 first-round picks this year? Would you give all 3 of those up for Derek Carr?
I'm a Jalen Hurts guy, so no, I wouldn't. I really like Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts, you know, the offense was not dynamic this year. Sirianni, hands the ball off a lot on first and second down, and he was put in these crazy bad situations. He never gets sacked because he always scrambles out of them. He definitely was inaccurate this year, but I think he's got a lot of room to grow. And we were just talking about intangibles. There's nobody with better intangibles than Jalen Hurts.
Good point.
I mean, you should hear him. I know a lot of guys, he came up, even before Alabama, everyone had this rap on him that he couldn't throw, but he learned to throw. And then he went to Alabama and Oklahoma, and he just got better. He gets better at every step. The Eagles fans, my friends, they're like, oh, we got to move on for Jalen Hurts. I'm like, you have a second-year player who's a Pro Bowler, and you're ready to move on? Because they always love the backup quarterback. So I would use those 3 picks on O-line and defense.
I agree.
Tell them the Jalen Hurts story. The first time you told me about Jalen Hurts.
I mean, man, when I first saw him and found out he was going to Alabama, I came home and I said, man, we're gonna have problems. Everybody's gonna have problems for the next couple of years because it's just like you said, those intangibles. You could see how high the ceiling was, and he hasn't reached it yet.
Yep.
And he's already in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
They better stick with him.
I had a friend. Fred told me he was at Elite 11, and he wasn't there was 5-star recruits there.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts was behind, but the coach walked away, even though he didn't have as good an arm. And that's the one winner in this group.
Yes.
And that's how it works, right?
That's it. That's it.
But I mean, I would like Derek Carr in an Eagles uniform too. I'm not gonna lie. That would be a good look. So hey, if you want to bring in Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, then we'll talk.
Okay, let's talk about your show. Now, for those that haven't listened to it, what can they expect from your show on CBS Radio?
Well, it's Maggy and Perloff Show. If you're a Dan Patrick Show fan and you ever watch it and you're like, you know what? I need an hour and a half of McGlovin. That is what you'll get.
Sweet.
Well, it's interesting because, she's really the only woman in this national radio space. So she gives a really unique perspective. And we're just we're a show. We're going to try and have fun with everything. We're different. We're a lot different. We're not going to come out with 7 hot takes in a row like certain shows, and we're gonna try and do news, but we're just we agreed to it. We're old friends from Sports Illustrated. It's you know what? If we're not gonna have fun with every segment here, what's the point? No one's gonna care anyway. So we try and find the fun in it and try and find the funny stuff. So that's really what differentiates us a little bit. I hope.
What times Pacific and Eastern Standard Time? What time can they catch you guys?
So it's 3 to 6 Eastern on CBS Sports Radio, CBS Sports Network, and then so that's 12 to 3 Pacific. Which I'm learning this week, and I will screw up again. And then you can go on the Odyssey app, and you can wherever you find podcasts. Cool. And you can follow me at Andrew Perloff. I put everything out too.
Yeah, I follow. I love following you because you give great takes. It's unique too.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, it's great. Well, that's Andrew Perloff on the Franchise Show on Franchise Sports Media. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah, well,
absolutely, man.
now
Thanks
you
for
guys, I'm going to record you. You're hosting me in Vegas next time.
Yeah,
got it. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Let us know.
I'm in.
All right, so last week at the end of the show, we got into a subject, kind of quote unquote old school hip hop versus new school hip hop, and who was our top 5 MCs of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that little take, we kind of got into groups. And I swear you said something that was so it was blasphemous. It was just disrespectful and ridiculous. And I would love for you to expand on that a little bit this week. Please, without further ado, tell us who are your top 5 hip hop groups of all time. Please, sir.
In order, or can I just go give you the 5?
Absolutely in order.
All right.
That's what we need.
In order. I can give you reasons behind each one.
Come on. I'm listening.
To me, the first group is Outkast.
Are you saying this is the number one
Numero uno.
hip-hop group of all time is Outkast? Is this what you're saying?
For me right now, yup.
What drug have you been partaking in?
Look, NWA is number 2. But let me explain.
Go ahead. Please explain. Please. I'm getting a headache.
And I think for me, Outkast really carried the South like the same way NWA did with the West. But there were still other artists out here. Down South, you know as well as I did. You either hear some hip hop that like is about X, Y, and Z, moving weight. It's chopped and screwed, or it's big booty music from Luke, who I love. But at the same time, it's like the Outkast is like, nah, this is conscience. We can go pop. We can go rock. We can go East Coast. We can go West Coast, Midwest. You want to mumble rap?
I mean, all right. Come on, keep on going, man.
So,
Man said Outkast is the...
For me,
Did y'all hear that?
The top group.
The man says that Outkast is the tip-top greatest hip-hop group of all time. All right, I'm not saying that I have a problem with that. They definitely in the top 5, but yeah, I got a little problem with that. Go ahead.
Coastally biased. I'm trying not to be.
Go ahead, man.
So it's NWA number 2. Again, same thing, but a coast on their back. Really opened up doors and were the voice for people that we didn't have a voice on the West Coast, especially on the block or in the hood. So, and then you spawn Dre from that and Cube from that. Easy. I mean, Ren, the first album was pretty dope. But so my number 3 group, Wu-Tang Clan. The diversity, they are a symphony, a hip hop symphony that all through their different styles all perfectly blend together and make great music.
For sure.
And my last one,
you got 2 more, right?
Yeah, 2 more. So this next one will be Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
That's again just. I think one of the first songs that I learned word for word, one of the first one that I heard, was Check the Rhyme.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Plus, I have
again. I don't think none of these are bad. I just think they're out of place.
And then
some of them are just ridiculously out of place.
My fifth,
you've been smoking.
My 5th one, I kind of go back and forth, because I could go the Roots, because they play live instruments and they flow. They're really good across the board. Again, we talked about Questlove winning an Oscar, and then I kind of think of, again, go back to the East Coast a little bit, and there's Gangstar. Again,
Gangstar, bro.
Hey, then you could go Native Tongue Family, but Tribes in there, but. And then I could come to the West and go Golden State Warriors. They don't have the impact though. So I'm gonna go to Roots, number 5.
It's not a bad list. It's terribly misplaced, terribly misplaced. But it's not a bad list. We got a lot of the same people, to be honest.
Okay.
Undoubtedly, NWA might be the one. They might be top 5 greatest group of all time of any music. Period. If you're talking about impact to hip hop, if you're talking about, you said the word Spawn. You
Yeah,
see
they
the
spawn,
levels
yeah.
of spawns that have come out of NWA. Do you just think about the levels? Just think about the levels. I mean, it's not even whoever's second may as well be third. That being said, second is Wu-Tang Clan. Because pretty much the same reason. What came out of it? How was it built? What impact did it have? What's the longevity? They still working. They've infiltrated film. They've infiltrated video games. Like across the board, it's a conglomerate. I'm gonna put Outkast third. For a lot of the reasons that you said, I feel like people got serious about the South with Outkast. And when I say people, I mean real hip hop heads from the East Coast and from the West Coast. Like they got serious about the South. They start looking at the South seriously when Outkast came. And I feel like Outkast really opened the door for a sound kind of like the West Coast did. Like kind of like what we did with funk and live instrumentation. They had a lot of that going on. But it was that Southern soul, jazzy type. So for the impact that they have for their region and putting their region on the map, again, and the longevity, being able to cross over into films and doing their own films. I'm gonna put the Roots number 4. Overall impact. I mean, come on, man. They on the nightly network television as
Jimmy Kimmel's band.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, I feel like, just like I said last week, Questlove is, you know, probably the best rapper I've ever heard as far as like just being a wordsmith, being able to flow and stay on a beat and flip on a beat. And it's one thing to be able to do that on the record, but to be able to rock with a live band and have that much pocket, like it kind of transcends hip hop into what the masses consider music. You know what I'm saying? When you go to a Roots concert, it's kind of like you going to an Earth, Wind, and Fire concert. The level of like the musicianship that's happening there. And then you can call me crazy all you want, but I ain't seen it. Number 5 is the Hot Boys, baby. Just like that.
Of course.
Just
Here
like
he
that.
goes.
Lil Doogie, Wheezy Wheat, Turk, and Juvie. That's number 5. Oh, damn, I left out Bone.
Yep. They weren't even in my top 7.
Dang, I left out Bone. Bone had an impact. I got to put the Hot Boys there, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm a little partial to that. Them's my dudes.
You know, you said NWA may be one of the top 5 greatest bands of all time.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to say right now, and I tweeted it out earlier this week, Earth, Wind, and Fire is the greatest band of all time on any genre across the board. The perfect band.
I'll say the best group of musicians in a band. I'll say that. I don't know if their appeal. Well, maybe so. I just went to a show with them. I'm like,
in the 2020s.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, and I was amazed at how many white people was in the audience, like grooving, like going nuts, singing every song word for word. So I mean,
how it makes you feel just talking about it,
man. Like but I'm just musical. You know what I'm saying? And I'm listening to instrumentation and just the production and just everybody can do something. And they'll just pick up a damn harmonica, a stick, start beating on it in the middle. I mean, it's just so much talent. It's just a semblance of talent that that's probably the most talent that I've ever seen in one band. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I can say that they the greatest band of any music anywhere. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people live that then touched me in a lot of different ways. And sometimes it's not necessarily about the musicianship, right? It's the feeling, you know? Gets the people going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's why I like the Beatles. That's the only reason why they were good. They're overrated.
Come on, man. Listen to the songs that the Beatles wrote.
They
though.
suck.
Listen to the lyrics that they wrote, man. They wrote great songs.
Paul McCartney's cool. I would
They
rock
wrote
with
great
him.
songs. You can't say the Beatles suck. Are you crazy?
They're overrated. I just said they
but
suck.
you're the same
They're
person
overrated.
that said
They're overrated.
Outkast is the greatest hip hop band.
I'm
of
just
all
telling
time.
you, the Beatles are overrated. Journey's better than the Beatles. I love Journey.
Oh. Son.
Steve Perry, outside of Ralph Tresvant, you're the guy.
Stay off the drugs.
Okay, so I want to know your top 5 bands of all time because I think the Beatles are overrated, and I think Earth, Wind & Fire is the greatest band ever. But you know what? We got to do that next week. I'm gonna give you some time to grow on it.
All right, let's do that. I'm putting one in there already, for sure.
I got like 4, and I'm gonna do my
No, I'm saying I'm putting one from this week in there
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and put one in for this week. We already know it's not going to be good, and I'm going to disagree with it because it sucks.
You're out of your mind, bro. You're out of your mind.
Well, that's it this week for us on the Franchise Podcast and Franchise Sports Media. Log in, fsmlv.com.
Yeah. We in the building. See y'all next week.
Remember, Franchise Sports Media, Las Vegas, the best in the West.